So what do we all think then? There's so many great things about this beta and a couple of bad things, but we'll get into all of that. The stuff we really need to focus on are the things that are there by design and not the little bugs that come with any beta. Especially a beta model that is basically a snapshot from a build taken a few months back. So today we're going to have a look at the things that are great about the Battlefield 2042 beta and the things that are not so great by design. Starting with the positives though, the first thing you're probably going to notice when you start the game up is the amazing graphics. Even if you run the game on lower settings, the quality of the graphics and the attention to detail is pretty astounding even for a beta. DICE have always had an edge when it comes to pushing the visuals and creating beautiful maps, and in this one, it doesn't disappoint. Everywhere you look, it's like you're playing a scene from a trailer, and there's always something flying, running, or driving around. The map just feels alive. 128 players in a map like this is just fuel for chaos, but it does seem like it's balancing out relatively well. You don't seem to see 64 enemy players running over the crest of a hill towards your little C flag. Everyone just kind of spreads out across the map. But, and it could be a huge but, when we go for game modes like Breakthrough in the full game, what's that going to be like when you've got 128 players fighting over 2 or 3 objectives? But on the whole, the infantry play is really good. There's not too much recoil on most weapons, it's manageable, and the guns feel really good to use. The only downside in my opinion is that you can slide around like the entire map is made of butter. And as far as the TTK goes, it's pretty good. Sometimes I've been seeing the classic one-frame deaths, but other times I've been able to dodge the gunfights, reset myself, pop out and win the gunfight. It does seem to me that sometimes I do pump more bullets into a target than they pump into me before they kill me, so sometimes I'm left wondering what the hell happened, but that's probably a bug in the beta or a connection issue from my side. As for the vehicle play, it's actually a lot of fun to hoon around in tanks and planes, but I found the helicopter controls quite difficult to use on mouse and keyboard, although that's probably because I'm not an avid pilot in Battlefield games, so you pilots, you're gonna have to tell me whether the heli controls are good or not. So those are some of the positive things that struck me initially from the beta, so let's highlight some of the negatives. And don't take my negatives like I'm hating on this game, because I'm really not. I've enjoyed every moment I've played of this game so far, but there are things in here that have been a little bit frustrating. For example, the ammo system. When you spawn in, for example, with an assault rifle, you spawn with the option for 2 or 3 types of ammo, some of which are suited more to long range, some are more suited to short range, and you've got 1 armor piercing bullet. But you get a severely reduced ammo reserve with all 3, which means if it takes you an entire clip to take down 1 enemy from distance, you only get to reload 3 or 4 times before you're out and have to switch to your other ammo type, which might not necessarily be the best choice for the type of engagement you're getting into. And then I don't know where to go to resupply that ammo, because no one's carrying an ammo crate unless I take one myself. Everyone's running around with a rocket launcher or C4, so obviously you can grab ammo from dead enemies, but this only gives you 10 rounds. So good luck when you're pushing a point and you need to enter the plus system menu to change your ammo type. But maybe ammo dumps are coming at launch, who knows. So this was one of the biggest things I'd noticed that kept happening for me. But the next thing is the ability to recognize friendly players and the specialists. All too often I found myself running around and I spot what looks like an enemy, so I start shooting at them only to realize they have a tiny blue dot above their heads. Oh yeah, that's a friendly. Everyone looks exactly the same, and the only distinguishing features between enemies and friendlies is the little red or blue dot, so it does sometimes feel like a spot the red dot shooter. Kind of strange when you consider that you're on the Russian side playing as an American soldier and there's nothing to distinguish between the factions besides a tiny red dot or blue dot above their heads. And then especially with the Casper skin, when it's stormy and you've got those raindrops appearing on your screen in the jungle area, good luck spotting him. He's gonna jump out and get you. Mostly though, in the sunnier weather, enemies are actually pretty easy to spot unless they're sat in a bush somewhere. So let's just pray for good weather for the rest of our lives. Finally, the most frustrating thing for me is how hard it is to stay on target because of AD spam or poor hit reg, and also how hard it is to take down enemy gunships when you're an infantry player. Like, when the enemy gets a few helicopters together and a couple of jets, there's literally no point going to the most contested point because you're just gonna get spammed with rockets. And if you try to take those guys down with your sniper or rocket launcher, it just seems like an impossible task to actually hit them. It's weird, it seems a lot harder to actually hit your target with a rocket than it did in previous battlefields. Maybe the hit reg will be better at launch, or maybe I just need to improve. But anyway, don't take my complaints about this stuff as me hating the game. It's just some of the little things that niggle at me. And to be fair to the devs, they have already said that they've fixed some of this stuff in the latest builds of the game. So if you haven't pre-ordered the game yet and you're basing your opinions on the footage you've seen, have a look at this video to see which version of the pre-order is most worth it. And let me know your thoughts about the beta. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Toodaloo!